How about now? Like it. That's feeling echo. Echo. It is echo. Why is that echo? Oh, I give up. Every time I fire it up, it's different. Bit quiet. Okay. Let's check it out. I can't see which one it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's give it 2 now, I suppose. Is that any better? Or this? That seems to work. Right, so what's wrong here? No. Oh, lovely, 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 lovely. Right, what else we got here? Right, that says sub. You're hearing music and me, are you? Because I don't know if you're getting both. And also I've got this reverb on it, and I don't know where the hell that's come from. Seems to... Oh no, that's got rid of it. Hiya, Mark. Really quiet. I really don't know what I need is to get a professional engineer in here. That's what I need. He goes, oh, I know what you're doing wrong. You're an idiot. We've been messing about this all day long. Yeah, it's a custom sound that I made up with multiple samples from various keyboards I've worked on over the years. Put them all together in Contact for a giggle. Right. Okay, so I've got one Widi hub working, not the other one. Brilliant. Well, that's a £40 million sound. Distortion from somewhere as well. Oh, gosh, where'd Bobby go? Okay, let's have a look over here, see what's wrong. Buzz now for sure. Oh. Well, the headphones are really working.
So there you go. Test 1 2.
Me.
I'd rather not.
Oh, go on.
You're very quiet.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand.
Because you're half a mile away from your microphone for a start.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
There's more to it than that.
More than this.
See, everything that's coming in is loud and clear. What seems to be going out is sort of like mushy shite. particularly loud or not?
No, but not particularly quiet. You know, it's there.
Right. I know this thing's running really too hot. Try everything with your pockets. Right.
I think I made a few people jump.
Yeah, just a tad.
Well, you just bring me in at the most inopportune moment. Just so I was having. I've just been. Oh.
Didn't know you were going to cough.
Oh. I was just getting into that. I've just got back from my son's high school performance of Matilda the musical, where he played Matilda's dad. I can't remember the full character. He was very good. I'm very proud. Proud dad, man. Wormwood or something. Now, here's the thing. I've never seen Matilda, read Matilda, been to the musical. I have no idea about what Matilda's like. Other than it's Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
And I ought to really know. But
well, you know. It's all part and parcel.
Who's that behind? Is that Siri in front of you there?
Yes.
Hello, Siri.
Say hello, sis.
Hello, darling.
Hello. We've got Charlie up here today and all.
Wow.
Which is not like him at all. Really isn't.
Right. So
Well, it's starting to look like
Christmas.
yeah, that you can't have
You cake and eat it.
2 Widi hubs on at the same time.
2 Widi. You mean so when you say Widi Hub, you're talking about the Widi Bud Pro? Yeah.
Widi buds. Yeah.
You can, but you've got to configure them, and then
Yeah. Well, they're grouped. One's A, one's B, and there's 4 Widis on each.
right.
And then Widi Masters. And each Widi Master is named to the machine it's plugged into.
Okay.
So it's easily identified.
Okay.
Now, one Widi hub works when the other one isn't connected, and the other Widi hub works when the other one isn't connected.
But when they're both
Both of
on.
them in, one of them always works and the other one doesn't. And the one that doesn't is B. Yeah, B.
Okay. What's that?
What?
Show that again.
B.
Oh, I just wondered whether. I thought that doesn't look like a Widi Bud Pro, but you've stuck a label on it. Okay.
Insane.
Yeah. Well, yes, there is that. Why?
I'll tell you what else we got in here. Yeah, there you go.
Pete Widi. Sorry.
Oh look, it's you.
Hey. Oh no, you just blocked me there. Look at that. Hey. Oh, that's the latency's not. What? Yeah, oh, look at that. It's not bad, is it? I go. What? Sorry. Little things like that amuse me.
Little things amusing and all that.
I would be the idiot in the lift. You know, when you go into a lift or elevator for our American friends, and you have a mirror both sides, and you do that thing, and it goes into infinity. I would be the idiot that would be going and just watching it go.
I'd be the idiot that where you find like there's a glass corner in a shop, do the
yes,
Harry Worth.
Yeah.
For
Oh
the
dear.
benefit of others.
Did you know there's a lift company called Schindler?
Schindler's Lifts.
Yeah. And they're one of the biggest lift companies in the world, and they're called Schindler. And so, yeah, it's Schindler's Lifts. Just genius.
I tell you what I read today in the Surrey Gazette. It's all leaves and everything. And there's a gated community.
Yes, well, that's Surrey, isn't it? It's all a gated community. Surrey itself is a gated.
Really gated community, right?
What,
With,
like Phil Collins' gated community?
you know, black suited security.
Yeah, very nice.
kind of thing, right? And about a third, half of the population in this gated community are all Russian oligarchs. Now, the Surrey Gazette was interviewing one woman who was in tears because of the war in Ukraine. Her bank account's been frozen, her cards are frozen, you name it, everything, she can't do it. And the reason she was so upset is because she had planned to hire a private jet to fly to somewhere in Russia to collect some Russian crab and black caviar and fly it back for her son's graduation.
Because the stuff in Waitrose just won't do.
Yeah.
You see, it's a different world, isn't it? It really genuinely is a different... I think as you get older, you appreciate it's not just a couple of different worlds. There's a gazillion different worlds that people live in, and they simply have no concept. You know, you and I, we shop at Lidl's and Aldi. Tesco's if we're feeling flush. and Madam flies a plane to...
Nobody on it, just
Yeah.
the crab and the caviar. It's like, what?
I know, it's, and it doesn't register
No.
as excessive.
Yeah. But the thing is, they were really they were all pissed off or upset about having their assets frozen.
Oh, shame.
But
Heart
not
bleeds.
one of them went, yeah, but I can understand and feel very sorry for the
Yeah.
people of Ukraine or anything like that. No.
Not one of them say, tell you what, if you unfreeze my assets, I will give half of them.
Well, interestingly enough, one of the guys living in this gated community, and they made a point of mentioning this, is a very, 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 very close friend of Putin himself.
Okay.
And go, so why is he living here?
Did you see that thing that our very own Boris Johnson, but in Russian, yesterday he appealed, and because he's fluent, of course he's fluent in Russian.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there's part of me that's thinking, well, there's a thing. There's a world leader, albeit one of the most inept world leaders, but at least he can speak multiple languages. There are some people who absolutely couldn't do that. You look at people like Macron and who's the one that's just finished in Germany, Merkel. You know, all of them multilingual. I don't think I ever heard people like Blair or who was the pig fucker, Cameron.
Oh, Cameron.
Yeah.
He could probably speak Latin.
Latin, yes, and we know that Johnson's fluent in Latin, but he was appealing to the Russian people, saying that we know that he probably, your leader doesn't represent you, and that you should, whatever. Anyway, but then there is part of me that thinking that the Russia for the last 20 odd years has been ever increasingly becoming more dark and sinister, and this isn't a sudden thing that's happened in the last few months. This has been building over a couple of decades.
Yeah.
And our leader is fluent in the language of essentially the enemy. There was a little bit of me that was just like slightly concerned. But then when you think about the amount of Russians that donate to the Tory party, who have benefited from Tory party policies about, owning property and essentially laundering money. I don't think...
But that's why the properties in London are so expensive.
Exactly.
Ridiculously expensive. Because
Yeah.
it really does serve the oligarchs well.
Yeah.
So,
So it's no wonder he's fluent in bloody... Doesn't he have some sort of Russian heritage anyway? There's some sort of blood connection there, I think. I don't know.
But I know what you mean, though, with him being able to speak Russian. He can probably speak French,
Ancient Greek.
German, and all the rest of it. But the thing is when he goes to the G20s, nobody wants to speak to him.
Exactly, yeah.
Anyway, so, but I mean, it must admit, it makes a pleasant change after 4 years of listening to Trump talking abject bollocks, which is he could speak fluently.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I know what you mean though.
Yeah,
It would be like having Chamberlain coming back after with his piece of paper saying he's going to see the Chancellor of Germany, but doing it in Russian,
yeah,
or German, or something.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but doing it in German. He's grown a little moustache while he's been away.
But the thing is that I found it also disingenuous because Zelensky, a few weeks ago, maybe a bit more, appealed to the Russian people in their own language. But he's got an exceptionally good reason for being able to speak Russian. And I thought that was powerful that he chose to speak in Russian to the Russian people. And
it's called privilege.
Yeah. Whereas, it just felt like Boris was, I think somebody in Downing Street probably went, I reckon if you spoke Russian, which we know you can do, that'll give you a few points in the polls. No, it bothers me terribly, but
yeah.
there you go.
But you know how the world works. It's not going to be bombs and Christ knows what else, or atrocities going on somewhere in Europe that will bring a government down, or parties or sex scandals. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be fuel prices.
Mm.
That's what will knock a lot of it on the head.
Yeah. I must say, I'm increasingly less anxious about a terrible, terrible thing happening. I think we all know what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about.
Well,
I just think I don't even think Putin is that stupid, but you get to wondering sometimes if everything is as shit as we are led to believe, that his generals are either dying or running away, and his troops are pissed up and confused and refusing to fight. If everything is really as bad as it seems, when that reality hits home, because clearly there are lots of people in between what's going on the ground and the Kremlin who are telling Putin, this is fucking marvellous, brilliant, we're absolutely achieving all your objectives, sir. When the truth actually hits, that this is basically his Vietnam, what's he going to do?
Well, this can only really end one way for him.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's 2 possible outcomes. One, he can flee, but he'll have to take a lot of shit with him because nobody will put up with him. So he's either going to flee to, weirdly, China, or
North Korea,
or somewhere like that. Some enclave he can crawl into, or he's going to put a bullet through his head, or somebody close to him will do it for him.
That's what we need. We need a Russian with balls. But again, rumours are abound that many of the head of the FSB, like what the hell is this guy doing? It could very well be.
Well, the thing is when you've got oligarchs who now have their funds touched, so now they are getting a direct effect.
Yeah, and they're propping him up
in their home. Even the ones that are propping him up are going, no, I want my money back, and I have a lot of money, and I know a man who would be able to solve this situation for me,
He's potato. I've been watching too much Colbert, and he's had this running joke for the last month or so about Russians, and he's potato. Everything is potato.
It is potato, yeah.
Yeah, it's just great.
So they'll just hire some guy to take him out or something.
I hope so, but it's all a bit.
But it's like it's been the same the world over. They take him out, and then yes, but who's replacing him?
As soon as you create a power vacuum, it can go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
It has to be done.
Factions jostling for.
It has to be done by the people for the people, literally. There has to be another Russian Revolution, basically. And I forget, Navalny, is it the one of the most outspoken, the one that got poisoned and then is now in prison, and they've just extended his sentence for some stupid reason. It's all about, and I'm sort of watching the news the last few days when they've been uncovering what's been happening in a lot of these Ukrainian villages, which is just vile and horrible. And you see the footage of just bodies in the street, hands tied behind their back, stories of families being just chucked into shallow graves, or people being forced to dig shallow graves for their murdered friends and family. And the Russians are saying, no, that didn't happen. That's fake. That's all fake. I think even the most hardened conspiracy theorists couldn't. I mean, I've seen some stuff on Twitter in the last few weeks where you got these people saying, oh yeah, well it's all staged, it's all actors, and they had film crews there, and for fuck's sake, really, on that scale? Have you ever been on a film set?
Never underestimate the power of stupidity.
I know, people in numbers.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
what a joy.
Yeah, I mean, I have Ukrainian work colleagues who, thankfully, they're over here, but some of their friends and family are not. And so I'm getting first-hand accounts from them of what has been happening over there. And it's grim as fuck. Yeah. Grim as fuck. And it's real. It's not just... well, never mind. Anyway, we're getting depressing here. Oh.
No, I was just thinking, because it was pretty much the same situation with former Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
But didn't seem to have the same kind of impact, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think with the Balkans, and that whole, Yugoslavia and Bosnia and Croatia and everything that was going on there.
Yeah.
They're all, there's a lot of infighting and lots of, genocide, and lots of war crimes committed against, the Muslims, and vice versa. I think I'm not fully versed in that, but none of those nations were a threat to anyone else other than themselves, and it was a case of like, well, we'll pick the one we prefer, but there's no great threat, but. With Russia, there is a threat. There is a clear and present danger.
I always wondered, though, whether it was more a case of when there's a certain degree of religion involved. One side is one religion, the other side's another. Then we tend to sort of like, I don't know, we'll get involved in that one. Whereas with Ukraine, it's very sort of like.
I mean,
it's a grab for minerals and land, and
I mean, Ukraine as a nation is rich in so many different ways. Yeah. It's got some of the most perfect farming land. It's got all sorts of natural resource. It's got culture.
Potato.
It's good to call potato,
Yeah,
but it's got culture. Very few countries have, and Europe is rich in culture. But the culture that kind of grew out of Ukraine, because I think early on in the war, people were saying, "Oh, well, Putin's talking about Ukraine is a natural part of Russia." Well, actually, Kyiv was a city, was a settlement, hundreds and hundreds of years before Moscow was even thought of. So, it's the other way around. If anybody's got kind of there was a great video I watched on YouTube, one of these kind of like history videos, not in 5 minutes. It was a good 20, 30 minutes long, but explaining the geopolitical structure of that region of the world for the last sort of 1,500, couple of 1,000 years. Yeah. And it was fascinating. I didn't know much of this at all, but, quite clearly... Russia, as we know it, has got very little compared to what countries like Ukraine and stuff. But the whole kind of all the shifts in the borders and the agreements and the wars and everything. It was fascinating stuff. Really, if anything that comes out of this, I think people will be more educated about about that part of the world than they were before, but at what horrible expense. But yes.
How do you bloody pain in the ass thing this is?
What's that?
It's one of these annoying things where there are on the Focusrite there's a mixer like that. Now, has that got any louder?
Yes.
It has. Well, there's a monitor. There's an output here, and you cannot, for love of money, do anything with the slider.
Odd.
What the fuck is that all about?
So I don't have that because mine's not fancy enough. I used to have it when I had my Emu. I had an Emu 0404 audio into PCI E, whatever it was. That had a load of great stuff.
Yeah.
A load of great stuff you could do in the box, so to speak.
Are you getting the echo on your voice?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck's sake.
But that's because you got your fancy headphones on.
Yeah, but you know
What
what?
you need is a
I've
pair
had them on before, and you've never had this problem before.
I don't know, maybe you've got the headphones turned up a little louder, or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's possibly what it is all about. Let's do it.
To answer Chris Head in the chat, yes, that is an RX-11. Right there.
RX-11, no doubt.
And then, no, not that one. You can't see it anymore because I've moved it up top. RX-5.
Ooh.
And then RX-17.
I was playing.
I do like my Yamaha drum machines.
I was playing with a little instrument earlier.
Yeah.
That one found knocking about, and unfortunately I can't remember what it's called.
And so ends that tale.
And moving on.
Excuse me. I had a phone call from our mutual friend, Mr. Unwin, today.
Oh, yes.
Whilst you were remembering, he phoned me up. He said, "Just a quick one, Rob." He said, "I was just watching Kent's show back last night. Back last night, and he said TX16W. He said, "Did you buy it?" I said, "No, I didn't actually, but it didn't sell to anyone at that price." He said, "I'm not surprised." He said, "But don't let anybody put you off. It's brilliant. I love it." And that was it. That's all he wanted to say to me, was to tell me that I should get one because he loved it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the poor little bastard's still working his
Yes.
arse off.
Yeah, he couldn't stay.
Yeah, because even with two of the projects delayed, pushed back, he's still running around like a chicken with no head, really, at the moment, trying to get all that shit sorted out. I wonder if that's it. I have no idea. It might not be that.
Apologies to your listeners. It's because I sat in this. It's weird. This is the weirdest thing.
Go on.
I don't know many people who have had this experience, because I guess when we go to high school, a lot of people tend to, once they finish school, they've left home, they tend to kind of move away from home. Maybe they go to university, maybe their job takes them away.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me. But I came back, kind of accidentally. I came back, and now my kids go to the same high school that I finished at. I did my last sort of 2-3 years of high school.
Oh, good, he didn't cough.
yeah. Come on, you're letting us down, Andy. You're supposed to launch into the room with a massive cough and scare the crap out of everyone. There you go.
There you go.
I'm sitting in my dressing gown, isn't that enough?
Hey, come on, you're doing a tie and win. If it's good enough for Ty, it's good enough for Andy.
Yeah,
But I'm not going to show me bollocks to everybody, so...
Yeah. Yeah, Ty's was a lot looser.
Yes. in every respect.
You only mentioned that TX16W thing because I told you not to bother because it was a piece of shit. Now,
And then
it's the best thing on the planet.
Literally,
Typical.
Ty phones me up today and he says, "Don't listen to them. It's great. I got some really good stuff out of there. You'll love it. It's a horrible operating system, but you will get some fun out of it." But I didn't buy it. So, so I was in today, and it's not the first time. But my kids go to the same high school as I did in the 80s, and it really hasn't changed a huge amount. And to sit as a member of the audience in the drama studio where they do all their high school performances, which is where I was on the stage, because I was proper drama nerd, music nerd, and I did Godspell, I did Narrow Road to the Deep North, I did a whole bunch of stuff there. And to now sit in the audience and watch my son take on a lead role in one of these things, it's a weird kind of circle of life. Just wow. Yeah, it never ceases to make me sort of like think, how weird is that?
This isn't it.
What's what?
Hang on, there's something really fucking stupid going on here. Hang on.
So I need Cresshead was talking about.
Can I ask a favour? Oh, if I do this now, can you tell me whether it's coming through in stereo or in mono?
Okay. It's coming out in both channels, but I couldn't tell you whether it was. Doesn't seem. Is there any movement in that patch? Is there any auto panning?
It sounds a bit like two monos.
Oh right.
If you know, there's that field bit. If you know what I mean. But there again, I don't know.
Oh, it's hard to tell. I'm only asking because I did a sort of impromptu live stream thing last night.
I heard. I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. Well, I was just titting about. I'd had a few beers and was messing about the module. And I thought, what will happen if I press go live?
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Apparently, people said it was mono and it was phasey and so. But I don't know what that. So if you
what
can
are you
tell
using?
Me, it's called YouTube Studio. I have.
Oh, it's like the native YouTube thing.
Yeah. I'd clicked on when it says there's a thing for mic, and I clicked on the USB codec, whatever it is. I'm sure it's coming out of this here Mackie mixer. It's just connected up with the USB cable. I don't know.
That was stereo.
Was it?
Yeah, because it went from here to here, or from ear to ear.
So I don't know. Then I was just wondering because if I choose to do it again, I'd like it to come to
some streaming service or streaming tools will just spit out a mono signal.
Yeah.
Like StreamYard, you have to select stereo as an option.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's that increases
something the hard way.
Eels. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry.
Somebody said, "Can't you just switch stereo on?" I went, "That was Jim." I don't know. Can I? I have no idea.
I've never used YouTube native thing. Yeah.
I was no idea. I was doing it. For Miracle Anytime came.
Why don't you sign up? Why don't you sign up for some StreamYard? There's a free tier.
Possibly.
And it might be worth because at least that will. Or if you use something like OBS.
That was another one that was suggested.
OBS is great because it's free, but it's not so great because it's that typical kind of open source thing where the learning curve is quite steep, and that's the trade-off that you get for something that you have to really kind of dig in and configure and understand. But I mean, there's loads of videos on YouTube on how to configure OBS for what you want to do.
Oh yeah.
I actually have thought about going back because we used OBS on PSN for the first, however many shows, and I got quite good at it, in a way that I could I could do things and make things happen that was like, oh, that's cool. I could press a button and all this stuff goes on. So, yeah.
I'm just looking in the chat box and they're saying Wagyu says sounds mono. Jim Glue says sounds mono. Does that mean I sounded mono?
Yeah, What you want to do is find a patch that has got some auto pan on that you know is going left and right, and then ask if
I'd have
people
to
can
bloody
hear that.
patch it. It was on the modular. I was just going to have to patch that in and make it do it. But I had no idea.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. I've just realised tonight watching Gaz how little I still know about that bloody machine over there. You know, I can still make it sound nice, make nice synthesizer sounds, but to go off into those funny, like suddenly Gaz has got these drums going, and then a couple of seconds later, it was like Forbidden Planet. It was like, hey, that was mental. How did he do that? That was mad. You know, and I have no idea. Watching all these bloody streams makes me realise I'm just a cretin, really. I was cockle. Smear my face all over YouTube, and people think I know what I'm talking about. I've no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just a charlatan. Anyway, here I am in my dressing gown, drinking a beer, getting ready for bed. It's lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah, why not?
absolutely.
Stereo web on the NPC. Oh, thanks, Wags. Yeah, actually, well, I could. Oh, do I have to try that now?
No. No.
I'm definitely not staying late tonight because my head hit the pillow at 2:34 this morning, and I'm fucking paying for it today.
Yeah, I had to get up very early this morning to hand a guy an extension cable out of the front room window.
How's the drive coming on?
Well, they started clearing it all off and everything and doing all the various bits and pieces, and it seems to be coming along all right. But
Good.
yeah, but still, no, they're both pissed off now.
Oh, like that. Is that come through? Is that coming through in stereo?
It's coming through. Doesn't sound stereo.
It should be. It's got loads of stereo effects all over it.
What have you got in your settings on your SteamYard now?
I'm not using SteamYard. I'm just
No,
coming
yeah,
through
but
on YouTube.
No, but you're coming through on StreamYard.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Right.
So in the bottom on the bottom, you've got like 5 buttons. The middle one's settings.
Camera, HDP, audio.
So yeah, go to audio, and then you should see
Communications, USB.
there'll be 3 tick boxes underneath. One says echo cancellation, one says stereo audio, and the
Right. Okay. So take the echo cancellation off, or
Take that
leave
off.
that on.
Yeah,
take it off if you stereo audio.
audio.
Yeah.
Nah, doesn't sound any different.
It should do. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on.
What's your signal path from that into your computer?
That's the MPC coming out into the Mackie mixer, coming out on USB into my computer.
So the Mackie mixer is an audio interface as well.
Yeah. I mean, I used to use a Steinberg audio interface, but that stopped working once I went to Windows 10. It just had a hissy fit. But anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just wondering. I mean, I'm still new to all that sort of stuff, so it doesn't really doesn't matter. It's not as though I've got to do a show on Friday night or tomorrow, Kent, or tonight, or every day of the bloody week. Actually, as far as this week seems to go.
I haven't got to do any shows this week because I'm not there on Friday. Ben's running the show. We had a trial session today. That was fun.
How did it go?
He knows exactly what he's doing. It's just he doesn't think he knows what he's doing, but he does know what he's doing.
Chris telling me to get better headphones. Oh, you've no idea, Chris. I've had these 5 years or whatever. They cost me £25 from Asda, and they're crap. They really are crap. And yes, they're on the shopping list. A better set of headphones. Ooh, Highlander.
Okay.
Oh no, that wasn't Highlander.
No, that wasn't, was it?
Okay, you turn on.
It's very interesting. I had one earlier that was really fucking groovy.
There you go. Neil says, "Can you pan things on the mixer?"
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh, I suppose I can try. Theoretically. Oh, actually, let's do this now. Oh no, because that bloody NPC is coming in on the stereo channel. Let me go. I'll take the NPC out. Let me go back to.
See, that's stereo. What Ken's doing, that's coming through as stereo.
See that should now all technically be left.
Okay. No. It's both channels.
My mix is definitely showing that left.
Yeah. So something in your computer is monoing that.
Something is going on there. All right, it's good to know because at least it's a starting point to solving the problem. If it really is a problem. Yeah, because people were saying last night it's everything that was because what I've been doing is I've been messing with the module. I've got this effects module called the Happy Nerding FX Aid XL, which I'd had for a month and never really actually explored. So I spent yesterday just messing about with it, exploring it a bit more, and I was getting some of the reverbs are just lush. I mean, they go in my speakers in here. It was like whoa. I mean, I've got reverbs, schmeverbs. You know, this was like suddenly it went wide and deep and whoa, what's going on here? This is okay. Now I know why people like this little module and why people told me to get it. So I thought, I was just messing about and enjoying myself. I thought, I wonder if I could press that go live button and what happens. And so I set it up and said, well, I'll go live in sort of half an hour or whatever it was, and and then people said it was all very mono-y and phasey, which was a bit weird because it wasn't mono-y or phasey at all in here or coming out the speakers. So
something's
I don't know.
happening in the box, you know, in your computer that's monoing it.
Something's going weird.
Yes.
Anyway, no doubt time will tell. Try again at some point when I've got something worth smearing all over the internet.
Well, mind you, got a new interface on your way.
Yeah.
Haven't you?
Oh, actually, yes, of course. Ooh, yeah, thank you, Mr. Spong. Yeah, well, I'll be in all day tomorrow because I'm still not going out anywhere, just in case I do get a positive test. It was interesting because Grace was telling me earlier on that somebody we also know had felt crap for days before they got a positive test. They got negative. So I've done 3 days and had 3 negative tests, and I still don't think I should force myself onto anybody right now. So,
well, so I went to my son's opening night for his school musical, and they basically kettled us into this place that they call it the concourse. When I was there, it was all open. There wasn't any building there. Now they've built buildings around it, and they kettled us all, the audience, into that place. I'm thinking, it was only last week that the regulations said you couldn't do that. But now they're just like, everybody in. And I'm thinking, well, I'm okay because I've had it very recently and I've had 3 jabs, so I'm strong like bull. He's potato. And so I thought, I'll be okay, but there's lots of other people here who might not be. So when it came to the interval, me and my daughter just said, no, we'll stay outside in the fresh air. But again, we were in the auditorium, you know, and it's all closed off and no aircon or anything, so that probably would make it worse anyway. So it's like everything's gone back to normal, and yet everything hasn't gone back to normal. So
no, it hasn't really. I think we're all becoming increasingly aware of that. Like, I mean, Grace and I were at this film premiere thing fortnights ago, 3 weeks ago, and just the place was full, and it was full of people. Nobody was wearing masks, including us, really. I mean, to be fair, we were just as guilty as anybody else, and there's no accusations.
No.
And you think, well,
No, I went to a
Vivaldi.
I went to a Darkness gig in November last year,
it went.
and that was the first gig I'd been to. No, I tell you, it was the second gig I'd been to. So I've been in an enclosed space twice, once in September, once in November, surrounded by people not wearing masks, and with the virus still quite prevalent, and nothing happened. And yet I go out for a couple of drinks with some friends in a couple of pubs that had a tiny fraction of the amount of people that were in those gigs in there, and I picked it up. So it's unpredictable. You can't say. You just got to. Yeah. But if this is how it's going to go, I mean, this is not. I mean, if this is how COVID manifests, what I've had in the last week and a half or so, then that's fine, because it's just like a mild dose of the flu or a cold. But we know that that's not going to be the case just yet, because the next variant will probably, or could potentially, be really bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't progressively get weaker and weaker and weaker. This one is, but the next one could be extra strong.
Yeah, it could take a turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're still not out of the woods, and I still think it's, as Chris has said, it is still a bit of a lottery. And we've just done this thing, like, I've had it, my wife has got it, but my kids haven't had it. They keep testing negative, and they've got no symptoms, nothing. But we're still not taking the chance of going to see the mother-in-law, who is 87 and quite frail. Because even if she got it mildly, it's almost certainly going to hit her a lot harder than it's hit us. Even though, we're in our 50s and have got, associated age-related ailments, she's 87. So we're just not even taking that chance. We're not going to see her. We're having stuff delivered. Even my postman, because we have the luxury of living in the village of, we know our postie very, very well. And he got word already, and so he knocks on the door and he steps back and he throws the mail at us. It's all very good natured. Bless him. I love my postman. He's such a nice. He's proper. He's a proper postman. He knows everyone. He's happy. Is he called
Pat?
No, he could be. He's called Mick. But he's just the loveliest postman in the world. Yeah, no, he's proper Suffolk. But he had prostate cancer a few years ago, and he didn't show up for ages. And we kept asking after him, and nobody would say. Obviously, they didn't want to. And then he came back and he said, "Oh yeah, I've had cancer." Oh, okay, how are you? He said, "Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, they got it in time, and they've sorted it, and I've had all sorts of things." But yeah, well, I love my postman.
What are you whittling with, Kent? If you pardon the expression.
I beg your pardon, madam.
Are you using the rolling, by the way? Because
No.
when you were playing that strings patch, it was so expressive.
No, well, what I've done is I've assigned the vibrato. I mustn't do that. I've got no end cap on the Hydro 6 Deluxe, so that it will sit.
No end cap.
Yeah, I had to take the aluminium end cap off so it fits on the tray. It also means the power supply is quite exposed if you stick your fingers in the side. No, I signed it to the modulation wheel. That's all.
I see. Well, it sounded very
What's
expressive.
the sound source?
Stradivari violin by Crema Quartet.
Yeah, we're going to be you and Ben and Dr. Mike Metley on Friday.
Wow.
You're going to be discussing the new version 4 Veer harmonic violin, which is very very good.
It's very good.
He's good. He's potato. It's one of the most expressive violins.
Why does yours sound like that, and mine sounds like it's been stuck through a box load of Boss pedals?
Get a
Very good question.
reverb plugin called RAM.
No, I'm talking about the mono stereo.
Just
That's
the
all.
overall sound quality.
Just the overall, the fact that it goes there.
When you get one of those big 19-inch rack audio interfaces with all the whistles and the bells.
Oh yeah. And set it up.
Yeah.
That'll be tomorrow
What's
then. Calm down, Robbie. Calm down.
Sorry, just Wagoo's post about Postman Mick.
What's Wagyu posted now?
So that just I had just one of those coughs that made me go dizzy.
What does Wagyu posted?
Postman Mick something post his own prick.
No, all right,
Long before noon, he also loves to moon. Mick really is a very saucy man.
This is what living in Switzerland does for you, Wagyu. You really need to get back to West Yorkshire. You wouldn't be typing like that if you lived in West Yorkshire. Obviously, everything over there in Switzerland is far too sterile, and your brain's getting really mucky
Mucky.
than it was before. Yeah.
I don't think Switzerland would have too much of an effect if there wasn't something already going on. God, I think I just had an aneurysm. Oh, dear me.
And it's all Wagyu's fault.
Yeah. Git.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Synth Addict. Hi, Keith in Watford. Hi, Crescent. Hi, all the other gang.
Do you know what? I wish I played in E a lot more. Most of these things would fit.
Oh, blimey, that did really... Phew. Where is... Oh, there it is.
Can you really have got good chops?
No.
Yes.
I
He has,
haven't.
actually, hasn't he? He has, hasn't
No, don't start doing all that bullshit. No, I haven't.
You
There's
have.
people who can play. People
You
like...
might not be a concert pianist, but you can make those things sound really nice, and that's
Well, one thing at a time, yeah, maybe. But yeah, but when I go up against...
I saw
Richard
Maura
Hilton-
Limpany playing Rachmaninoff's second piano concerto, and she was only playing one thing at once.
Yeah.
Who, sorry?
Maura Limpany.
No.
Oh.
Sorry. Am I now a heathen?
She
What
was
about
one of the
Tina
greats,
Chow?
yeah. It was a long time ago. It can't be far off one of the last concerts she actually gave. Maura Limpany was a really very well respected concert pianist. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
a casual aside.
Well, I've got to pick two... Oh, tell you another thing that helps when you want to get your violins to sound nice. An expression pedal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
then-
have to get the really, really expensive, what's it, FH7, Yamaha FH7 or something like that. There's a...
Hi Adam, by the way, can't be asked typing.
There's
Sorry,
an
I'm just
M-Gear
saying.
one. There's an
I can't
M-Gear
even see
one.
the keys anymore.
M Audio.
Yeah, it just says M-Gear.
Oh, sorry.
EXP. And that's a really good one.
Mm.
Real nice one.
I've got the Yamaha one.
What, the FH?
It's the big one
Fucking
on the
big, chunky,
rocker.
Heavy, yeah, big heavy
But-
bastard.
It's the one that came with the Series 3 Fairlight. So basically, Fairlight boxed it up as their own, but when you open it up, it's got Yamaha molded in the top. But they've just basically fitted a specific connector onto it. Fits in the Fairlight.
Is that
Was-
a
I can't remember which one it is now.
optical one? Like the 80s, CS81.
Could be, yeah.
Like, bulb and a receptor.
Honestly, couldn't say. Unless I went downstairs and dug it out of the box.
Because the socket they go into means it's got like either minus or plus 15 volt on it.
Yeah, it's got a big old torpedo thing on there.
Yeah, because if you plug the wrong things in, that's what people do to 80s. They
Right.
put switch into the expression socket and it goes bang, and all the tracks burn off the PRA board, and it goes off corner forever.
That's not good.
No.
So I'm just waiting for... Oh, bloody hell, it's taking ages. What's going on there? Oh, flipping heck.
So another question then, Kent. When you're doing that on your keyboard, can you hear that in your own headphones? Because I can't when I'm doing this over here. Because I've got my headphones. I'm not quite sure how all that works, all the headphone routing thingy.
Well, we had to go down the dark road of loopback software. So it looped the audio back into your headphones.
I monitor through my interface.
Yeah. But
So
what
literally-
I ended up doing though was using two audio interfaces
Right.
because I'm using two different computers at the same time. So I stream on the Mac Mini but all the big bollocks is being done on the big PC. But it also helped having two audio interfaces, because you've got all the audio coming out, going into the audio interface that's going into the Mac Mini, and then stream out. So everything's all mixed together in a mixer before it goes, if you see what I mean. But if I plugged anything in the headphones, I wouldn't hear anything on the Mac Mini for some reason, even though all the audio was going into the input. But it wouldn't route across to the output. We never did find out why.
I love that.
That is lovely. Which one is that? The
That's the Veer Harmonic, but that's the version 3. It's not the version 4 that's just come out, because this version 3 was for what do they call it?
oh god, how much
UVI.
is it for?
I don't know, but it uses its own engine now. And it basically picks the right bowing, just everything. It does everything for you. It's
Do you
so
know
clever.
what's amazing, Robbie? I don't know if you remember way back when you asked me to come on to Pro Synth Network that first time you made that big mistake and asked me on. We were talking about this sort of thing, and I mentioned something about playing saxophones or clarinets or flutes, and there's no way that I could play a keyboard and sound, okay, it sounds like a saxophone, but there's no way I could articulate it like a saxophonist. That sounds like a violinist playing a violin.
There's an awful lot of algorithms and shit going on behind the note pushing.
There are two ways of doing it. You extensively multi-sample, and I mean, like, not just each bowing technique and each note, but all the round robins and everything that goes in between. And then you have to script that so that it understands what you're inputting on the keyboard.
Yeah.
And through whatever expression techniques, pedals or wheels or whatever. Key switching is another thing that is often used.
Yeah.
But this one is very good because you can do key switching on this to switch between the different bowing techniques and the different velocities and everything. But it can also do a lot of it automatically, or you physically model it. Like if you play a saxophone or a trumpet on, say for example, the Prophecy or the Z1, you do stuff on it, and if you went to, if you've got a sampled trumpet and you go to the pitch bend and you go, you knock it up a couple of semitones,
it sounds crap, doesn't it?
It just bends, it just goes. But with something like the Prophecy, because it's an actual physical model, it understands that there are lots of different things that happen when you try to go from an A to a C, and all these different things depend on. So if you're blowing really hard, if you're blowing really
Here
hard,
it comes.
that's and you try to move from an A to C, that sounds different if you're blowing softly. And so it has to calculate all of those different things. And the Prophecy, it was one of the first things that I really noticed about it when I was playing acoustic physical models, was that it behaved like a real trumpet. So if you hit a note and then bend it, it doesn't go, it steps because the person's lips would step through that, and the hard, if you increase the amount of air going through the model, then that has an effect on what else you do elsewhere. And it's very clever stuff. But sampling really seems to have taken the lead, I think, on that. And it's a shame that a lot of the physical modelers have, Swam, I think, do a really good job.
One thing I did notice on the deluxe, because even though it's was it 73 or 72 or something like that, isn't it?
73,
yeah, 73 key. But they've assigned bottom C to C0.
Right.
So you can do key stepping on this, whereas before you used to have to go to an 88 note.
Right, yeah.
Because it would always be off the edge. That's what drives me nuts about one of the other ones. But on this, so it's actually geared up to be quite low on the keyboard. So what you think would be the middle C isn't. It's actually at least an octave out of that.
Mm.
So you're going through the patches, and they're either being footage.
Let me play you. I don't know if my extension will go that far.
Wah wah wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Let's see.
Let's try this.
Oh, that's the dying swan.
See, that's two different round robins, key switched. Because one is that, and one is that. Phew.
Whoa.
What a stink. Well,
Right. So that's the trumpet. And so this is decreased, this is minimum air going through. And then you can whack it right up. But if you try to pitch bend the note, and that's more like a real trumpet. If you put minimum air going through it, because you're not blowing so hard, you can't do the pitch bend, so it goes.
Like a real trumpet player running out of breath.
Exactly like a real trumpet player.
yeah.
Well, interesting stuff. What's the synth? That was a prophecy, I think. Chris said.
That is the prophecy.
Yeah.
Right, now if these are all the signs. See, this is why I don't understand why Robbie doesn't like Contact. You can just set up all this stuff so quickly. Where is what the fuck did you do with that?
Oh, ladies in bloody lavender now, aren't we?
Just sounds good.
I love that film, by the way. I don't care who could possibly criticise me. I just love Ladies in Lavender. It's just one of those films I could sit and watch again and again and again because it's just so lovely.
Andy wants me to do the fall-offs. Where's the fall-off? Let me do the fall-offs. I did a... Oh.
Right,
Okay,
while you fall off, I'm about to nod off, so I'm going to go to bed now. So I'll say, no, thanks for letting me drop in, and I'll see you all tomorrow night.
No, that's
You will.
All right, folks. Take care, everyone.
See ya.
Tra-
last yourself, buddy. Oh.
See, the Z one's even better because the Z one's even better because it's polyphonic. Where's the trumpet?
Used to
you
be
got bowl trumpet.
big. There's certain elements of that are very, very accurate.
Yes, it's not perfect, but it's like, you know, I
Yeah,
mean,
but
this was 1990.
Yeah, but the essence of it is there, do you know?
Yes. Yeah. That's why I wish somebody would do a 21st century physical modeler. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Steady, you're going to get a copyright strike there.
Of what? Well, what does it sound like?
Well, that was just the Blade Runner riff there, wasn't it?
Was it? No.
Oh, you subconsciously, mate. You're subconsciously doing it.
I tried something with it. No, that's not it.
That's not it. I must get a better.
What happened?
Honestly, I could play those riffs all night.
Yeah, but you know what? A lot of his tracks are very, 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 very similar to each other. So if you learn one, you kind of know them all.
Yeah.
Where you go, oh, he's done that again. Oh, I see. Right. It's like what's that? There's one that is quite easy, but it's also at the same time a bit hard. Don't go there. Just don't. You know the one. Now, if we put that through an audio track, even though I'm playing it live, come on, where did you put all the stereo ones? You little wank. Oh, there we go. Right, okay. Right, stereo. Good boy. And then we put my RAM on it. I'm not going to put black hole on it. Put RAM on it. Give it a little bit extra. There we go.
By the way, that prophecy was no effects apart from whatever is internally.
That's pretty sweet.
It's one of my favourite patches on there. It's the one I used. I used it on Songbird.
All right. Is that the right RAM? Yeah, it's the right RAM. Why are we not? Hello. Not hearing it. It's very unusual. Put it on the actual out. How weird. Are you getting reverb on that?
No.
No.
Andy, the patch was Eerie Comb String, which is on the analog. No, what's it on? It's on one of the expansion packs, either PHC 11 or PHC 12. It's called Eerie Comb String.
Oh, I wonder if it's on 2.3. Oh, you stupid.
You twat.
Fucking
You fucking.
fucking cunt on a stick with a sugar mouse. Audio. Here we go. Really quite. Here we go. Audio connections. You have to set up your audio connections. Let's have a look. Audio buses. Add buses. Add. Oh, Christ, okay. Add 16 audio buses. Add. There you go. Right. Thank you. Inputs assigned. They are. Ooh, that's gone big.
It's a nice one.
Stereo 2. No, you're not on there. Not on there. What in the name? All is holy is going on here. Why is it not recording? Something seriously up the shit here. Oh dear,
I can
something's
never
not right.
remember what that bit is. How does that go?
What's that?
I'm just trying to figure out another part on that Junquo.
Oh, do you know what I'll do? Twat. What I'll do is not play on this. I'll put it onto contact, but you don't link.
All right.
And call up Scarby. What we got? Let's look in the Scarby collections. A200. I doubt it very much. Here you go.
Whilst they're waiting, everyone in the chat, name this synth. What is this synth?
Go for it.
Any ideas?
Nice weather.
Come on, chatties, what's that synth? Listen to that. That kind of breathiness, and then the harder you hit it. No one's got it yet.
There you go.
Oh, that's it. Brett's got it. Brett's the winner. Oh, there you go. Brett wins the non-existent prize. Of nothing. Of just the sheer satisfaction that he got it right. Paul Artell says Tamblewolf.
Do you know what? I haven't set up any of the foot pedals yet.
Oh, you slack.
Whack. Let's go. So, do you want to sum up his Vangelis's career?
Yes. Absolutely. So what's that? That's electric. Oh, hang on. What the hell's happening? I know what it is. It's this. Everyone's gone quiet, but it's not you. It's me. That's it. There you go.
You got a
I've got a dodgy connection, my extension. No, that's like a roads or something going through something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Scarby Mark 1.
Right. Yeah.
There's another one actually. There's an 88 one as well. That's actually quite tasty.
I wonder if. Let's have a look.
Hello, young one.
Because he's the master of layers, isn't he? He takes that and he layers it with something else, and then just plays the melody. And you think, there's 2 or 3 parts going on, individually played, but it's not. It's just layers.
Yeah, well, I asked him about when he does the string synth, which would be what the BP330 back in the day. I said to him, I said, when you bring that in, you bring it out, and you mix it down afterwards, or have you got it on expression pedal while you play with the Fender? He goes, no, expression pedal. Okay, make a note.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. Name that synth.
Says that D50.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it isn't.
It's what was it? Can't remember which bank it was. It was preset 7 or something, or 5. That's nice.
Come on, somebody. Dempsey says D45. Yeah, not quite a D50. That's probably quite accurate, though. Not an MKS80. Not a DX7 Mark II. Dare I say, yeah, close. Not a Hydrosynth, because I don't fucking own a Hydrosynth for the umpteenth time. Dempsey says SY77 again. Very close. Native ES has got it. It's the TX802. But programmed by our dear friend, Dr. Manny Fernandez. And that was from a bank of sounds that he wrote to compete with the T50. This is nice. TX802. It's
That is
lovely.
nice. Yeah, no, that is nice.
Lovely. So I can go. I really should bring this nearer. There you go. Here's another one that he programmed to compete. That's the TX82 trying to do Fantasia from.
Yeah.
Come on. There we go. Is this it? No, that's not the one.
Let's see if this one. Oh, what have you got here? I beg your pardon. If you could put that right now. Excuse me. It's funny, I forgot to download all those instruments I got with
Oh yeah.
whatchamacallit. Buying the Rolly 2.
Oh yeah.
Because I've still got Rollies, I can bloody use them.
Oh yeah, cool.
We've got to go and get them. Twat. There's a little funny little synth on this somewhere. Where is it? It's a little patch. Trouble is, this has got so many. It's ridiculous. Right, everything's got to be set to any. Yeah. I do prefer the rise over the block, I must admit.
Mm.
It's easier to handle, that's for sure. But there's so many fucking sounds on this.
It's TX802 again.
We don't seem to have a terrible latency, but then we're not playing anything with a rhythm going, are we, I suppose?
Andy's, hang on. Does Manny sell those patches? My 802 needs them. No. At the moment, no. It's... Sorry, I've got to think about the way I say this before I breach stuff.
Yeah, careful. Now.
So, when Manny did all those sounds for the 802, they were done for Sound Source Unlimited, which was a company set up in the US that really jumped on board with the whole, hey, these synths can now have, you know, presets that we can sell on floppy disks or what have you. And Manny retained the ownership of everything that he did. But the guys behind SSU, I think, then sold the licenses to Bob Gray of Great Sounds. And Bob's still going. So Bob sells a bunch of them, but not the ones that Manny still owns the rights to. And I begged, borrowed and pleaded with Manny in the most polite way I possibly could. Would you please let me have your TX802 patches? And he said, not right now, I can't. And he had very valid reasons for doing it. So in the end, I just end up scouring the internet. And as luck would have it, Peter Forrest at Vemia took a whole bunch of new old Argent stock in. And in the boxes were a whole bunch of Sound Source Unlimited floppy disks, of which I bought an absolute, and that's just one pile.
Jeez.
So, you know, there's a TX802 disc, still in its cellophane, still with the Argent's price ticket on of $12.99. Yeah, there's just tons of stuff. So that really is the only way you can officially get any of Manny's TX802 sounds. Legitimately, of course. There are going to be places where you can find it. Wagyu says, Manny did talk a lot about those. Because basically the reason he did those was because he went into a shop, his local shop in California, and the guy said, I can't sell these DX72s for love nor money because Roland just brought out a new synth called the D50. And Manny said, I could do some stuff with that. So off he went. He came back, and the guy, was it Leuenberger? I can't remember if it was Gary Leuenberger or not. But anyway, the guy that owned the shop started selling his DX7 Mark IIs with Manny sounds. And after a couple of months, Yamaha noticed that this guy was selling every DX72 that he was being sent, and that all these other shops weren't. So they got in touch with him and said, why are you selling so many DX72s when like everyone else in the country is struggling because we're up against the D50? And he said, I've got this guy. His name is Manny Fernandez. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yes.
Just goes to show, if you have the talent, you will get noticed. And boy, has he got the talent. Some of the stuff he's done is just incredible. That's nice. Okay, Andy wants to know the numbers. We can do that
Give him the numbers now.
because Muggins here, who is a sad sack, actually built a spreadsheet a while back to catalogue all of those Sound Source Unlimited discs.
Well, I'm going to, for a moment, while I go and grab a cigarette.
Okay. You're going to fork off.
Correct.
Leave me in charge. Right, here we go. Let me find Sound Source Unlimited. Here we go. So I can tell you exactly what you need to know, Mr. Andy Synth Addict, if that, of course, is your real name. So the the 802. You want the 802 banks. So the model numbers, I guess, if you call is 80201 is the soundtrack bank, which is predominantly stuff that's kind of D50-ish. Then 80202 is MIDI guitar voices. 80203 are power synths, sometimes marked up as 80205. But 80205 is also known as linear arithmetic voices, or LA voices, because obviously they couldn't use linear arithmetic. And 80204 is MIDI wind voices. So basically 80201 through 80205 are the five main Sound Source Unlimited banks for TX802. But if you are very lucky, there is a pack called 80201CS, which gathers all of them together. But then he also did a whole bunch of stuff for the DX7 Mark II, which of course is compatible. And they are Sound Source Unlimited 701 through 712. So there's lots of different banks there. Some of them are kind of duplicates of the 802. Some of them aren't. You've got New Age, you've got Super R&B, you've got Symphonic, Top 40, whatever that means. Fractional pianos and guitars is quite good. And again, they are available in collector series if you can find them. And then there was a bunch for the Mark I DX7. And they also did DX11, TX81Z, 100, 21 and 27. They even did stuff for the RX5 drum machine and the RX7. So, yeah. A very prolific company that did some great stuff. Oh, so I guess, oh blimey, I'm not on my own here. This is, when it's not my stream, I feel very self-conscious. And if you want that stuff in detail, I can let you have the information that I've gathered. There is a brochure out there somewhere. The guy in England has got a copy, but he refuses to PDF it. So he refuses to do a proper scan and then just upload it as a PDF for everyone to look at. And it's an entire SSU catalogue of everything they did, not just for the Yamaha stuff, but for the M1s and the Roland stuff, a whole bunch of stuff. And I had to laugh. I asked him, is there any way that you could scan that, just even if it's just on a regular A4 flatbed scanner, scan it, convert it to a PDF and send it to me just for research purposes? And he said, well, why don't you, because what he did is he videoed it. He took photos and then he put them into a video. And he said, why don't you just play my video and pause it at the appropriate moment? Okay. Man, you should start selling USB sticks that he's accidentally forgotten to erase. Yeah, seriously, the guy is prolific and very, very good. I don't want to speculate on Manny's reasons for not making any of this stuff commercially available at the moment. But let's just say that Manny still does a lot of sandbanks for Yamaha, particularly FM sandbanks, and there's no point giving away or selling stuff that he might be able to use in future projects. So, somebody's asked me a question. Neil Wharton, how does the Korg Prophecy software synth from Korg compare to the real thing? That's a very, very good question. Mostly very, very well. However, when it first came out, there were certain patches that just weren't right. And the more you looked into it, it just felt like they hadn't quite got the models correct. So the behaviours were different. The sounds were ballpark, very, very close ballpark. But there were characteristics, performance characteristics that were a little different. And when you A/B'd it against the hardware, there was, it was clear to hear. They then dropped a couple of updates that fixed or improved upon on that. So I have absolutely no idea what the process is of recreating the prophecy in a VST plugin, because obviously it was dedicated, DSP hardware in the synth with dedicated code. And one would assume, rightly or wrongly, that if it's just code, that you could emulate stuff. But as has been found out with many sort of emulations of plugins, yes, it's technically possible to emulate certain processors or DSP chips or whatever it might be. But if you're doing it in a VST fashion or in the VST format, you end up with a plugin that is hogging a huge amount of resource because it's a very intensive plugin, and that just doesn't make it really. It's not efficient, and as Wagyu says, it gets close. A lot of these kind of hardware emulations get close, but it's different kettle of fish modeling a dedicated DSP chip than it is, say, a Curtis filter chip or an SEM filter chip. There's a lot going on. And I've spoken to people about emulating Fairlights, and they've said, but surely a 6809 processor is easily replicated or in software. But when you think like the Series 3, for example, had up to 10 6809 processors. It had 2 on the system board, 1 on each voice card, and then you had 68,000 chips running. So you had multiple processors of different types. And if you're trying to model all of those processors, it's technically absolutely possible, but is it efficient? Are you going to load that plugin and see your CPU meter go to 75% just because you're running this one plugin? So it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. And the fact that they've done the bloody prophecy is just brilliant. The fact that they've actually got a software prophecy now is fantastic, because it means that I don't have to keep going over there and turning it on. I can do stuff over here with it. Wagyu. FPGA is definitely the way to go. Yeah, you want something dedicated. And there will come a time when I wouldn't be surprised at all if somebody took the M1 or the M1 Ultra, whatever it is, because it has so much more processing power and speed that it could possibly emulate everything very accurately. But a lot of that old technology, you're not only, like with a Fairlight, you're going to be emulating these old processors, but you're also going to be emulating these analog filters that were dynamically working to affect every single note that's being played. There's a lot going on, and to do that efficiently within a VST or an audio unit wrapper is probably not efficient. I think it always boils down to efficiency. There's a guy who is supposed to be doing a Fairlight plugin. He's the same guy that's done the Lindrum plugin called VProm, but it used to be called VLin, but Roger got a bit pissed off. So he now calls it, and that is a brilliant emulation of the Lindrum, because it has it models all of the chips and all of the quirks that made the Lindrum what it was. So he's supposed to be for the last 5 years, I think, has been working on it, and slow and is taking time. And he still says that he's going to do it, but you just think he must be struggling to get it. I don't know. I have no insight into his process, but you would think, Arturia have come along with their version of it, which is not a bit accurate emulation, for want of a better phrase. But it's good enough. It's good enough. Do I have any convincing Syrah patches on the TX? Hang on. Oh, shit. There was... Hang on. No.
Oh, clitoris patch.
I know there's some patches on here. That's one that's... It's not close, but it's... No, it's not really, is it? What's this? No, it's bass. I can't find it at the moment. I have seen a few patches that the DX wasn't particularly good at that breathy quality. Yeah. I know the FS1R can do some stuff, but then that's because it's got formant shaping, so it can do that breath. Like that patch I was playing earlier on has got a very breathy quality to it, which is why I used it. Excuse me. Oh, what's the time? I need to go to bed soon. I cannot stay up again, mate. David wants to know if we've talked Widi yet.
I'm wondering if my Windows Bluetooth is on.
Could be. So you're saying that individually, when one is on, it works fine. When that's off and the other one is on, it works fine. But when they're both on, they won't.
Yeah.
That's suggested.
But when you say works fine,
Okay.
Not entirely. But I did notice that when you go to Bluetooth and devices, where we got two Widi Bud Pros listed, and it has a plethora of options, which are remove device and fuck all else. That's it. So now, because they bundled in Bluetooth and devices together into one panel, you go, so is it on or isn't it? But there's no, turn it on or turn it off button. I decided it might be a good idea to put that somewhere else. So let's see what's available. Hang on a second here. Update drivers. Yeah, that's going to be a long-winded piece of crap tomorrow. Something to look at.
Yeah, I think
They're
if we,
talking about
have a look-
updating the USB drivers and a few other bits and pieces. There was a video on YouTube where the guy was saying, to get Widi to work properly in Windows, you also had to download a piece of software called something like MIDI loop or USB loop or something,
All right.
and whack that on.
I've never heard of that.
No.
I mean, really, it should be a case of configure each device individually. Like I said, but I think when I spoke to you before, write down how you want to configure it, and then get the app on your
I got the
iOS
app
device.
on the iPad.
Yeah.
I was able to individually pair each Widi Master. Of course, because they were brand new, they all had to be updated to the 1.70 and all the rest of it. Did that, and then changed its name so that I knew which one was which, obviously. You had to disconnect it and plug it back in just to reset it. And so the Argon 8, the Mod Wave, the MPC-X, the Clone TT78, the Hydrosynth 49, the Oasis, the Pro 3, the NI Controller 88. They're all there, yeah?
Yeah.
On this, connected to the big PC, and it goes, there's 2 Widi hubs, but we're not going to do anything with them. And one of the hubs is going, I can't even get detected by Windows.
It's very odd. Because I've had 2 Widi buds on the Mac and had different things connected to them, and named them differently, and Logic sees them both, or the Mac sees them both, whether it's in Logic or whatever, and can address both individually, and there's nothing. So it kind of makes me wonder if it is just a Windows thing. But
yeah, well, this is it. I mean, if
Have you got-
if I go into if I just set up a MIDI track thusly, I can select a Widi bud. No. God, I've set that bastard off. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, very good. I think the Oasis can do one of those breathy, therapy sounds.
I'd be amazed if it couldn't.
Yeah. But I think it might be sample data.
Oh yeah,
more
mostly,
than-
yeah. Well, the Fairlight's a sample, so it's
Yeah, but I mean, but you know what I mean. I mean, when another synth does it, it's normally some clever bullshit going on in the background.
Oh, excuse me.
No, I must admit, I would imagine if I plugged these into the Mac Mini and was running Cubase and whatever on Mac Mini in a virtual machine, my Mac Mini would melt. But it would have found those Widi buds. No problem. So, but if I can get it to work and get it stable and find out what it is between those USB devices and whatever's going on in Windows, and get that sorted and get everything to work, then I'll buy another 8 to go with the 8 and connect up the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
And then have everything controlled centrally from within the door.
Yeah, I think I might do that. I've got a week or so off, not next week, the week after, so just after Easter.
Yeah.
And I've got to finish the Fairlight, which shouldn't take long, and then I'm going to update the floppy drive on one of my Emaxes to a Gotek. That's on the list. And then one of the other things was to settle on a Widi configuration and then just leave it. Because at the moment I just sort of plug things in, unplug things as and when I need them.
Yeah.
But I need to set up groups properly so that I can just turn everything on and I know exactly what's connected, and it's always going to be that way. Just do it properly. Yeah, so I need to do that along with everything else that I need to do on my days off. Like, I've just been commissioned for another article in Sound on Sound, which is nice.
God.
Written one, proper words and shit. And I've got to edit another podcast, which I've been putting off for ages. So, yeah, not so much of a holiday.
Potato.
But it is potato.
It is
It is
potato.
potato. Oh, gotta love Colbert. Thank you, David. Yeah, I literally just got that email about 15 minutes ago. Yes, we'd like you to write that. That'd be lovely.
Go for it.
And
Yeah,
and
so,
the last thing I submitted, he said, "Oh, it's very very good. I barely had to edit it at all. Oh, that's good." So,
yeah, he couldn't be bothered. He just went, nah, fuck it, it'll be all right.
oh, I wish it was that easy.
Yes, absolutely.
They are very, very, very good.
Yeah.
Yes, they're very thorough.
Yeah, I've got to get my console one and my fader one to connect up now.
Mm.
And I think that's... So it's Widi, those two puppies. The PreSonus fader port is all up and kicking. So it's just that corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll be it. Then I'm done.
Good.
And only 20% of the wires that were in it before. Mad.
Yes.
Mad. Yeah, no, like I say, not yourself, I can't stay up late because I've got this bloke dropping off his, exchanging the skips, and he likes to come at stupid o'clock in the morning, and then the builder guys turn up, and we're supposed to be fitting a floor tomorrow,
Right.
which should be
Oh, well, in the workshop.
in the workshop, yeah, while they get on with the driveway.
Oh yeah.
And,
Well.
oh, good night. So, and don't come back. So yeah, busy again tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. It's all good. Paul Artell says plans to drop a video. Is there a PSN show? Yes, there is. Of course there is. We never miss a show. I won't be on it though. Because
The Pro Ben show on there.
the Pro Ben show, yeah. Ben's going to be the main man this Friday, with yourself and Dr. Mike Metley, which will be fun. So yeah, we got that. I'm going to be where am I going? I'm going to be in Ipswich watching Joe Lycett live. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Because apparently he's done something really quite... Because, you know, he always does something big, you know.
Yeah.
And then tells you how he did it all.
I wonder if it's something associated with the Oscars.
Well, yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Well, he was out there, wasn't he? So.
Yeah. He posted something on his Instagram a few weeks or maybe a couple of months ago, and said, "Look, if you're coming to see these series of shows, I've been doing this thing and I've been working on it for like the last 5 years on and off, something ridiculous like that. So yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to go to a theatre.
That thing that Bill Bailey was going on about. He was telling a story where he went. He said, "Yeah," he says, "I've got this." He says, "I was approached," he said, by the Sons, saying, is it true that somebody saw and filmed you?"
Oh yes.
Very drunk in a field,
Yes.
interfering with a donkey or something, naked, taking it for a ride.
Yes.
Don't know anything about that. But I thought it was brilliant when the guy come back to him and said, he goes, the son have offered me 20 grand. You up for it?
Yeah. We split it 50-50.
But, yeah, there you go. That's circular thinking for you.
Yes.
Yes, so everything's... I'm very pleased with my video splitter.
Good.
So I'll be able to have... It's the wrong computer on it, but it's actually supposed to be the other one. So it'd be Cubase like that. So when I'm playing on that one, I've got Cubase, and then I'll have a remote thing over there, so I can having to keep running over and then go.
Yeah.
Over there. So we'll do that. But yeah. And then I can start trying to actually properly get to grips with some of this gear. He said MPCX.
Oh, the components arrived for the DX1 power supply, so that's good.
Okay.
So fingers crossed in the next week or two when Howard gets a moment, he'll do those and pop it over. And then it's fingers crossed time.
Yeah. Where the hell are you putting that?
Well, just stay where it is at the moment in the downstairs room, as I'm not bringing it upstairs. A, I don't want to take the walls out because you would.
It's
B,
quite a lump.
B, it's very heavy and my back is quite precious. And C, once it's up here, where does it go? It's just wouldn't.
Yeah, it would kind of take priority in the room.
It was bad enough having the KX88 in the middle of the room.
Yeah, but that sticks out a whole lot further than the KX, doesn't it?
So it'll stay where it is, and it'll just be nice because it looks nice where it is. It kind of looks like a nice piece of elaborate furniture, which a lot of people would probably say, "Oh yeah, that's what it was designed for." Yeah. So no, but it'll be good and start playing around and messing around with that if it is the power supply. So
Oh, it's got to be. We traced it back to the
Yeah.
other DX1, didn't we?
we did,
And everything worked except,
yeah.
well, that was all that was left.
All the boards in the one that's here worked in the one that was there.
Yeah.
So
Played fine. So
yeah, I can't
we
imagine.
know it wasn't any of the horrible, expensive, hard to get
Exactly.
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
So
I'm still waiting for a couple of.
oh, and I've got to come and see you as well, haven't I?
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for some G-Rev EPROMs for an OBXA because it's a laugh. Yeah, I suppose.
Because it's a laugh.
Yeah, it's for Dave's one.
Oh, okay.
It was not a happy bunny, and it ended up being much more of a not happy bunny. So this should knock it on the head anyway. So.
Cool.
But he can't come and collect it now anyway because I saw he'd come down with COVID.
He's got it again, hasn't he? Yeah.
Even though he's locked in that room.
Yeah, I know. Bonkers.
So, don't know. Can you get COVID off a brush?
Yes, it's not good.
No, but it's true what you say about, it's all very well saying, oh, it'll mutate again and it'll be, barely a runny nose. No, it could mutate again and have the similar effect of brain cancer or something.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It can go either way.
Yeah, there's absolutely no guarantee that it's going to mutate into something. Because a lot of people say, oh, it's getting weaker. The Omicron variant was weaker than the Delta variant, and the second Omicron variant is weaker than the first Omicron. That's just coincidence. That's just luck. And the next variant could come back, and it could be, like you say, it could be worse than anything that we've ever experienced thus far, or not. And it's until we figure out the way it does its
We've
evolution.
never really
that
successfully figured out how to deal with those kind of situations anyway.
No, because the flu vaccine. I mean, the flu kills thousands and thousands of people around the world.
Yeah. But
the
150 years
vaccine,
ago, it was killing people regardless.
oh, properly, yeah.
Yeah.
But the flu vaccine, the annual flu vaccine is a different vaccine every year because the flu virus mutates. But because the flu virus has kind of had a chance to settle, they can predict with a reasonable degree of certainty what the next variant is going to be, or what the next dominant variant is going to be, and so they can then prepare the vaccine. But even if you have the flu vaccine, you can still catch the flu. But as with the COVID vaccine, it doesn't stop you getting it necessarily. It can drastically reduce the symptoms, especially in vulnerable people like me.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear from people who have never had the vaccine and have caught it, and what was it? How bad was it?
Yeah. Well, there could very much be, you know, there's almost certainly people out there that have caught COVID maybe on more than one occasion and it's barely affected them. And so we need to know those people because we need to find out what their particular genetic makeup is, and can we then replicate that?
Yeah.
Can we synthesize that and make that into, you know, use that knowledge?
Yeah.
I mean, I was contacted when I reported positive last week. Within 24 hours, I was contacted by a drug trial program, all, you know, valid through the NHS, called Panoramic Trial. It's basically it's the University of Oxford and Nuffield, which is like a private healthcare company. So they're doing this trial of antivirals. So I had to fill in this big questionnaire about, you know, all of my stuff, you know, symptoms and everything else. And I think because my symptoms were very mild, I haven't heard anything back because there'd just be no point giving me the antiviral, seeing as I've managed to beat it myself. But that's through luck more than judgment. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be really. I would love to stay and chat, but
Yeah, no, I've got to hit the sack anyway.
yeah,
Because after I get this floor done tomorrow, I'm going to have this. I've also got some catching up to do because I've got things like I bought incinerator
oh yes,
off Dom months ago. I haven't even downloaded it yet. John Dyson gave me some of those patches, bless him,
oh yeah.
and I haven't got hold of them and put them on yet. I've got the Argon 8 that I haven't updated to version 2 yet. It's like, God's sake, get a grip.
Yes. Stop buying stuff.
Yeah, stop buying stuff.
Stop buying
and concentrate on the fucking gear you got now
Exactly.
and make it work for you. I mean, I've got some lovely stuff. I can make some really nice sounds. But I'm not playing. I should be playing. That's the whole
Yeah.
point of the buggers being in here.
Yeah. Well, it's like I bought those Korg plugins, the Op6 and the Wavestate,
Yeah.
and I tinkered with the Wavestate. I barely touched the Op6. I just haven't had the time. And when I've had the time, I'm usually like too tired or
Yeah.
you know. So I do need to spend some time. But you know, like I said, I've got a week and a bit off, but I've already got, you know, so many things I need to do that they're going to take up most of the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just not enough time. I need to I need to be able to retire early, but that's never going to happen. So
Well, weirdly enough, I was saying to Fiona about how long it was going to take to make all the benches and shelving and everything that I've got to put into that workshop.
yeah,
And I said, but I want as you know, benches and stuff like that, but I want them on wheels this time. I want to be able to move them around and have them fixed.
yeah,
And she's going, oh, right, yeah, right. She goes, how long do you reckon it'll take? Well, I said, I've got to get some kitchen worktops and I've got to need a whole boot full of, you know, 2x2.
2x4, yeah.
Yeah, and some 2x1 and stuff like that. And some hardboard and do this, that and the other. And she went, no. And then I got a tap on my shoulder up when I was up here a couple of hours later. And she goes, look at this website. I go, okay. It's a company that manufactures workshops.
Okay.
So there's all this stuff you can buy, and you just wheel it in. There you go, done, and
Nice.
put it up. I'm looking at the prices, and I'm going, fuck's sake, you know, for what is essentially a table on wheels. Fucking hell, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
She goes, no, it'll save a lot of time, and it'll look nice. And I think, okay.
Well,
So the workshop should be up and kicking a lot sooner than I
good.
thought.
Yeah, good.
Which means I'm going to spend more time in here
Yes,
and do some shit, man, you know,
indeed.
if it is.
And on that note,
Yes.
right, my bed is calling.
When I'm calling you.
Indeed. Oh, my wife. Well, no, my wife isn't calling because she's still poorly. She was very upset that she couldn't get to go and see my son in his what was potentially his last school production, because he's doing sixth form next year, and whilst he can still do it, he doesn't want to distract himself, which I guess is an admirable thing, but he does like it, so we'll
Does
see.
he want to pursue acting as a career?
It's one of the things that he's more into music tech, which is kind of I've never pushed him down that path. Maybe I have subconsciously influenced him, but
I mean, I love what Grace was saying. We had Grace on last Thursday. She was saying about her daughter coming out of university. She's going to university simply because that was where the comedy roots, all the good comedy roots was come from. I'm going, wow, how admirable is that?
I actually, because he's chosen his A levels. He's doing music technology because he's doing that at GCSE, and he's already passed that with a merit.
Yeah.
He's doing music tech, politics. What was the other one? I've forgotten what the other one was. But the politics one, I actually feel, if music tech doesn't if he doesn't find that politics, I think he's going to be quite good at that, because he's got a great social conscience, and he's grown up in a household that's never been overtly political. I mean, yes, I'm a diehard democratic socialist through and through.
I basically hate them all.
Well, yeah, but I've never, like religion, which we don't have in this house, but I've never forced that on him. If he wanted to follow, whatever flavour or colour, he'd be more than as long as he knows what he's doing.
It's a bit like believing in Winnie the Pooh, though, isn't it? Really?
Quite, yeah. But it's funny because he's got a friend who's his age, 16, who's a massive Tory boy. And every time he brings him over, he keeps hoping that I've got my Corbyn shirt on because he wants to wind him up. But no, Ken, my son is not the new Boris. If anything, he would be, I don't know. I would say the next John Smith. Do you remember him? Who?
Davis, leader of the Liberal.
Oh yeah,
he was temporary leader of the Liberal.
Yeah,
I
know. I'd love him to be a John Smith.
He's the MP for Chessington here.
Oh yeah,
and he's been brilliant. I've been hearing from everybody who lives out there going, "Oh yeah, no, it's been fantastic. This got sorted out." So he seems like a nice, genuine geezer. But once he gets up there,
unfortunately, all the
nice
people that would make great politicians are too clever and too smart to be politicians.
Yeah,
because they know. Yeah.
I must hit up old David Arnold again as well.
Yes, you must.
And
hit him around the head.
Yeah. He said maybe towards the end of April.
Okay.
He would have got through it all.
I think June. Is the earliest that we've got spaces. So. Yes. Ken John Smith did die way too early. Way too early. I was watching.
Yes.
I was going to say this before I go. Brian Clough. I was watching some clips that had been assembled.
Yeah.
There's a man who, if I could say, if somebody said to me, how do you align yourself politically? It would be like Brian Clough. He was it's just such a brilliant man with such a wonderful outlook on life, and somebody said to him, "Oh, you've got all this, you're a successful manager, you must be on a few bob," and he said, "Yes, but I know I only got here because of a socialised education system, and because I've had people that have come up through that. So it's only fair that I give it back." And he lived in a little 3-bed semi. He didn't. What a hero! Absolute hero. I'm going. Stop it! I'm going.
Yeah.
Let me go. Let me go.
Holding you back.
I will be in touch tomorrow, and
dear.
for everybody in the chat, this man's got another show tomorrow.
You've got homes to go to, people.
Yeah.
Come on.
He'll have another show tomorrow, and then we've got a show on.
There's
on
another
Friday.
show tomorrow where various people join me to speak absolute bollocks for
Testiculation.
several hours. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we do.
I'll probably be there, I'm sure.
You mean probably? You've been to it at every single one.
Yeah, I know. It's quite sad, isn't it?
Well, no, that's your thing, isn't it? It's like, PSN never misses a Friday.
Yeah. I'm committed.
Yeah.
Or need committing.
Yes.
One or t'other.
Aye.
Indeed. And on that note, have a lovely evening. Love
Good
to
night.
Fee.
Good night, everyone.
Give that little fella down there a little rub under the chin for me.
I'm going to stick him up on between the pillows tonight.
Oh, bless him.
And he goes into a tight little ball. The beautiful thing about him is he doesn't move. He gets into position, and that's it. He's still there in the morning.
Really?
Yeah, none of this
Yeah.
business that the others do at night.
Just
Little
stays
buggers.
there.
Yeah. A good boy. Noah. Oh, is that cold? Oh, hello.
Oh, there you go.
are.
Fuck
Oh,
off,
there
Dad.
you
I was asleep.
Hello. Hello, little fella. You ready for bed?
Right.
Right.
See you tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Take care. Bye, everyone. Have fun. Have a good
Bye,
evening. Good
everybody.
afternoon. Bye.
Bye.